Hi. Hey.
Kail Anderson, yeah.
So it's time. It is time. The Blue Album is coming out, and I actually have a release date for it now. This is something I've been working on for years. Literally years. So it's cool that I actually have like a date, solid November 11th, 2022, which is 11/11/22. So that's the date I'm going with. It just calls to me a bit, and I'm just ready to release this and like release the energetic experience that when you make art, especially like when you've been working on art for a really long time, the energy you're still holding on to. So like I'm not really just releasing this album, I am releasing, you know what I mean? I'm releasing the sorrow, the grief, the love, the joy, the anger, all of the emotions that I have felt making this album. I'm releasing, I'm setting free with the album. And whatever comes back my way comes back. But it's like it's not on me anymore. I'm releasing it. But my brother and I keep talking about this because, like, do you know that one song, 2 a.m.? And it's like, 2 a.m. and I was done and she calls me if asking if I'm awake. And then that one, you know it. So there's a part at the end of the song where she's like, and this is my diary screaming out loud, and I know that you'll use them, like the words, however you want to. And I'm really having like my 2 a.m. moment. It's what me and brother keep talking about because we love that song. I'm just like, I'm releasing this very, like, part of my soul, my heart, right? The agony, the yearning, the love, the joy I felt just by creating this. And I'm like releasing it for other people to have that experience, whether it was blue or not. I just have like been in my blue period for the last few years, so like it's like common for artists to go through periods. And so when I was like 19, I think, I was like, I'm starting my blue period. And then I made a video when I was 20 of me like drinking stuff in the shower, being like, it was like, I think I was just drinking shower water, but it was like, I was like, had a mug, and I was just like, I'm going through my blue period. Like, I think I was wearing a beret and everything, really the most dramatic thing you can imagine. I did it, right? You can actually watch the video, it's still up. It's like the birth of the blue era. And so I'm like, the blue era is ending with this. Maybe I'll switch to another color. Maybe I won't. But it was very much like just the artistic experience of choosing a color and finding myself being, wrapped up in it, reflected by it very much. So I've just been like, wow, it's time. This thing I've been working on for years. And like, to be fair, the idea of the Blue Album actually dates back to when I was in the 7th grade, right? So I really wanted a computer to write. I was like in 7th grade, and like I wasn't like supposed to have a computer per se because none of my siblings got computers in the 7th grade, but I'm the youngest. So I told my like dad, like, hey, I will, like, I'm gonna write a book. That's what I told him. Like, I'm gonna write a book, the Blue Album. And there was a point where I wanted another computer because that computer just stopped working. It was like a small, tiny computer. And it had like kind of just stopped working at that point. And like, I was way older at this point. But like, this idea stems from like 7th grade. I think I was a senior or something. I had printed off all of this work I had and like gave it to my dad, and it was like called the Blue Album. And it was like just the last few years of work I had been working on, because like I promised him I was gonna write a book, not him a book, write a book with that computer, which I didn't. I'm like working on a book now, but it's different because I'm like a full adult, and it's not going to be called the Blue Album. But you know what is? this album I'm releasing in like 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding, 2 weeks. Like, I'm freaking out a little bit, but I'm still like, yeah, it's fun, it's cool, it's out of my comfort zone, and that's okay. That's the whole thing about being an artist, is you're like scared. You're scared. You know, you're excited, you're nervous, you're shaking in your boots, but it's like, that's the point. You know what I mean? And then it's to share that with other people who are experiencing those same emotions, and to show them like it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be seen. Like, I'm almost talking to myself at this point about this, like, yeah, it's okay. And like, you don't need other people's love to justify your own love, or justify your experience being real or worthwhile, right? You just have to have been someone to experience it, and like, we're all experiencing it. So as long as you took something from something, then that is all of the gold in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need someone else's approval in order to make beautiful art. And like, beautiful's relative anyway. You don't need anyone's idea of what is enjoyable or what's consumable in order to be someone who creates, right? You just have to feel. Like, art's about feeling. And if something is making you feel something, then that's worth making art about. That's kind of what the vibe I feel like I have for this album is. Like, you know, I don't have very much music experience like I do from like just playing around and having fun. But like, the last actual music experience I have dates from to like 6th grade. I took keyboarding I took it for a full year. I was just like put in the class as a 6th grader. I thought it was about typing originally. Found out it was about keyboarding, and I loved my teacher. I just really understood what she like made keyboarding come to life. I was like, yes. And so for Christmas that year, my parents got me this keyboard. So this keyboard's like from the 6th grade, so 10 years old, 11 years old, this little baby, it's still kicking. But my parents got that for me, and I was so excited. I come back the next semester, the teacher's gone. And like, we just kept getting these teachers who just weren't passionate and didn't like, you know, they didn't excite me in like keyboarding. And that's the last actual experience I have with like being in a class for something, or like being in something that's like meant to be learning for music. I took like music in elementary school, but like, I'm pretty sure everyone does. But like, outside of that, And I think that's okay. I don't think you need to have all this skill set. And honestly, to me, it's allowed me this freedom to be like, I can do whatever I want. There's no rules to me. Like, I obviously understand there's theoretically rules to music, just like theoretically there's rules to art. But it's like, that's not going to stop me from abstract painting whatever I want. Because like, again, art is from the heart, it's from the soul, it's from the feeling. It's like, what you feel is what art is. So like, I don't know. It's like, yes, I almost don't feel as trapped in the bounds of like what art should be, like especially musically, because I don't actually know what I should be doing. And I think that's okay, because again, like, that's what I want my art to be, is just like, you know, you don't need to know. You can just do what you want to do, and if it makes you feel good, if it makes, you know, if it like calms that part of your heart that creates, then that is beautiful music, that's beautiful art, that's beautiful writing. Like, there's no rules to it. And like, poetically, some of the most famous poets are people who completely disregarded what poetry was at that point and like made their own genre, and they like just took words and like dropped them all the way down, so it's like one line's up here and one's down here, and nobody had ever seen that before. And so like, just for me as an artist, it's like about doing things because I want to do it, and not because I need to, you know, fulfill some kind of standard of what this art should look like or sound like or, you know, feel like. So yeah, and I feel like the more you put the idea of feeling as being the main reasoning, the more that feeling is actually felt. I just like I love consuming art where you know it's genuine, you know it's authentic. Like people aren't doing it because they're looking for attention or because they're, you know, they're so convinced this is the best art in the world, but they're doing it because they just want to, because they feel like they should, because creating is just a natural part of being alive. Like creation is the existence. Like we are all creation, we are all creators. So it's like how do we create? How do we keep creating, right? So I just am excited. I wanted to share a little bit of just an old notebook, right? So I said I've been working on this for a long time, and I have. So this is called the Bleu Album, which is what it's titled. And this actually blue spelled correctly, but I ended up switching it to like the French version of blue. You'll when you listen to it, you'll get it. You'll get it. But anyway, so this says 12/14/2019. So 2019. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Is that 4 full years? 2019, 2020, 2020. But also, do you count like 2021 to 20? I don't know. But anyway, I've been working on this for like maybe 4 years, right? Pretty much all of my college experience, and I graduated. Like I started this when I was in college. I was a freshman in college, right? And I had literally like raved about it. I had a therapist at that point that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna release an album. Like I literally in my head convinced myself I was gonna release it that following semester. But I'm really grateful that I waited, because this is just so much more authentic, and it's like I'm doing it because I have to, and because it feels like this is the right time. There was a point I think I really wanted to release it early. Like I was like, why I wanted to release it that semester was because like some of the songs I was working on were about someone specifically, and I wanted them to hear it. But now I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm past that. You know what I mean? Where like had I released it a few years ago, I would have been so hung up on this person and like their response to my musical experience. But now I don't care. I'm like, you can take it or leave it, baby. You can take me or leave it. Like that's the thing about allowing you that space to grow, like taking the years. And like obviously in my head I was like, why do I keep postponing this? Why do I not, why was it not coming to me? Like why was I taking such long breaks between working on stuff? But now that I'm like, oh my gosh, 2 weeks away, right? I'm 2 weeks away. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, now that I'm 2 weeks away, I know the reasoning. It's because I'm so assured in myself that like nothing anybody could say, even the person some of the songs are about, would like change the way I feel about myself, the way I feel about the album or the art I create, right? Because it's like, it doesn't matter if you don't like it. It doesn't matter if some stranger doesn't like it, or like, because I like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not to be liked. It's because I feel something. And I feel like we're all so caught up on stuff being good or bad. And it's like, it's all relative. People love things that are theoretically awful, like awful music or something. But people are like, I love this. And because it made them feel something, right? That's why. So yeah, I think if I can make some art that just makes people feel something, connects to their own experience, their blue experience, right? Then like I've done my job of being an artist, being a creator, being a human being. But I'm not like only focusing on other people's reactions, other people's experiences, but it does go again to that 2 a.m. moment I brought up earlier, where this is like my diary, and like these words are yours that you can use how you want. And so it's really like I am releasing this knowing other people are gonna have it, because like I'll be real with you, I listen to it maybe once a day, maybe a few times a day, maybe a few times a week, right? I love it. I love just driving in my car, listening to it. I know all the lyrics. I'm like, dancing to it. It's not really a dance album, but you could dance if you're in the car. But so it's like realistically, I don't need to release it. I don't need to put that out there, I could just listen to it myself for the rest of my life. But it's like, that's not the point. The point of art is to release it, is to literally be a release. So then I can start working on other art to then have all these same feelings towards. So yeah, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, the time is now. And we are here, baby. We've made it. It's like, wow. If this video is almost like to future, like 20-year-old me who started this in 2019. Yeah, I would have been 20, I guess. So this is, to me, from 3 years ago. Like, hey, you did it. You did it. You made your album. Oh my gosh. I just got like chills a little bit. That's beautiful. But it's cool. It's cool to be like an even cooler version of yourself. And like, that's the whole thing, is like, you just keep getting cooler. The older you get, you just keep getting cooler. Like, that's life. That's being like assured in yourself and like just taking life for how it is every day. But yeah, so I just wanted to go through this because I think it's really cute. And yeah, it's just a part of it. So literally none of these songs are ones I ever chose. I made. These are like ideas I think I had. Some of them I think I wrote down stuff too. It does have waves. Like, there's no song with waves in it, but the theme overall is waves. This is called Stormy Weather. It's about my dog who died, and at this point I wrote this, she had not died yet. Rest in peace, Stormy, you know what I mean? She was that beautiful soul, and I know she's watching me, cheering me on. Like, she's one of my cheerleaders, like, woof, woof, in doggy heaven or whatever. Yeah, this album, Blue Girl, that was actually a poem I ended up releasing just called Blue. Yeah, so with like other things, but not as interesting. So I'm gonna keep going through this. Another song, a recipe. Okay, there's some really intense drawing. This is the song I had called Blue Girl, the Bleu Album. Stuck in a motionless town, unmailed postcards scribbled with confessions, too far to be thought about, too lonely to ask. I liked the way you looked at me on a midsummer night's dream. You were warmer at noon, opened up with the sun. That's just a little bit of it. It's actually a poem I released called Blue. And it was just really what I was feeling at that point in my life. It's actually the first poem I ever wrote that wasn't like just some little scrap note in my phone. I mean, I think I wrote it on my computer or my phone, but it was like the first poem I wrote that was like a full-length poem. And like, it made me feel something. It was like the first thing I wrote that made me feel something. I'm just passing. So like, the other thing I think that's cute about this is, okay, so like, obviously this is the kind of art I make now. It's just abstract stuff. I mean, this is still slightly abstract, but like, look at the stuff I was creating at like 19 or 20 maybe. Yeah, and some of these I published alongside poems in my poetry book, but some of these I did not. Some of these are just live in this book. Yeah. But I just am like, wow, look at that growth. And like, the whole thing about doing abstract art and being an abstract painter is like, I do it because it makes me feel good. Like, I take something out of it. It allows me to be free. Like, it allows me to be like, and there's like nothing relatively, there's no wrong or right in art. There's no wrong or right in music. And I know that falls in the category of art, but like, or poetry. And that's even where I'm at like now. And like, I had released a poetry book about a year ago with all these poems in it. And like, they were cute. Definitely. Some of them really did make me feel like I told you about, like Blue made me feel something. Some of them were just like in there because they were cute and like fun. But the poetry I'm working on now, even after like a year difference, even though a lot of those poems I was like compiled together for that poetry book were older poems, but the stuff I make now, I like only do it if it makes me feel something. And it's like, if I'm not crying rewriting this poem, like I know it's not the poem. Like poetry, art, music, dancing, being alive is supposed to make you feel something. It's about feeling. It's not about gaining anything out of it unless the gaining thing you're looking for is feeling. So, yeah, it's gorgeous, really. And I'm enthralled that I'm here, that I'm at this place, that I feel so assured of myself for the art I create. I know I'm only gonna keep making more art and, you know, feel more assured of myself and like find more joy out of it, right? Because it's like, that's what we do as human beings, is we create in whatever capacity that means to us. So yeah, I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm scared, a little part of me is embarrassed, but I think that being embarrassed is like just being alive, right? Like, it's kind of embarrassing to be alive, like we don't talk about it, but it's like, oh my gosh, all these things, like all our ancestors, which were literally at one point monkeys, like primates, like all of these things evolved for me to be here sharing my art, my music online. Like, that's embarrassing a little, but it's like also super cool, so cool. And like, I don't think we talk about those parts of being an artist enough, that, you know, being seen it can be scary. And like, I'm even talking about it as a Leo sun. Like, I love being seen, I love performing, like I see myself as that, but it doesn't mean I'm still not like a little shaken. And like, you know, putting yourself out there is definitely scary, but it's like, you know, you have to overcome those things, especially if they have meaning to you, if they give you a feeling. So yeah, just the Blue album is here. It's arrived. We're waiting for it. It's like 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. Yeah, so November 11th, 2022, 11122. Okay? So listen to it. Do what you want, feel something. Make art of your own, even if you have no clue what you're supposed to do, because most people don't know what they have to, like, what they're supposed to do. And to quote my own song from my album, the song is called Visions of Your Face, and the quote is, "My dear, no one really knows what to do." So I'm gonna leave it on that. Thank you for being here. You have a great experience, and you go and make some art. Because you are a being who creates, and it's because you're alive, and you're here to be alive and to experience what being alive is, and that's being vulnerable and seen, and, you know, a wonderful facet of creation, like a wonderful sliver of existence. Like, that's why everybody kept going, because they kept creating. And that could just be, you know, having children. Like, that's why we're here, because people along the way kept trucking through. They kept finding like joy in life, and that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And so go find some joy of your own, and maybe that's in my album. But you again have to wait. If it's not 111122, wait, did I say that right? 1111. Yeah, 111122. If it hasn't passed that date yet, it's not out. But if it is, go listen, go dance, go drive, go roll the windows down and drive. That is honestly how I listen to it a lot of the time. Just go do your thing, okay? Whatever that means. All right, bye.
Thank you for watching. You have a beautiful day.